Well, Skyline says they accidentally sold the grave plot twice, first to someone else, then 2 years later to Tyber Harrison's family. His family's devastated and confused why someone would still want the plot after Harrison's already been buried. A couple of years ago, a family picked out this spot on top of a hill and under a tree overlooking Portland as the final resting spot for 20-year-old Tyber Harrison.
It was the best spot. And that's what my son deserved.
In 2016, Harrison was a college student in Florida when he was hit by a car and killed.
I try not to replay that moment, right? When he was completely alone and dying.
And as his mom drove west back home, she just had one thought.
I was just like, God, I just wish that we could keep driving.
Keep driving west. Soon after his death, she did, crossing the country and landing in Portland, carrying Harrison's ashes with her, and finally, years later, finding the perfect spot to lay him to rest.
Yeah.
Though now, each time she visits, Tin Yo is worried that her son's grave will no longer be here, instead replaced by a hole in the ground. That's because Skyline Cemetery told her they first sold this land not to her in 2021, but to another family 2 years earlier. And they're filing a lawsuit to claim this spot and give it to the first family. Skyline declined our interview request, but in court documents say the initial sale wasn't recorded because of staff turnover.
How could that possibly be? That's ridiculous.
Tin Yo is worried this could happen to other families too. For months, she says Skyline has tried to get her to sign papers to move her son. They've offered her a refund or a new gravesite.
But that other family doesn't have, a cremation vault and a memorial. They haven't done, this isn't their sacred spot. It's just a transaction.
Just a transaction without their loved one buried here, alongside sunflowers portraying Harrison's radiance, and under a tree to keep him dry forever. And throughout this ordeal, Tin Yo says Skyline warned her they would uproot Harrison's burial site themselves if she didn't agree to the move. Now, David, it's up to the courts to make the final call.
I mean, you really just feel for his family. Thank you, Thomas.